Hello guys, this is PieDisliker, and welcome to the next District of Turnabout Storm. We're here with part 4. So, looking to get this started. As I said before, I'm going to be dividing this into two parts, apart in the parts. Part 5 will, since this is 2.5 hours long, I'm going to divide it so that it's cut in half. So you'll be seeing two videos of Part 5, Part 5A and Part 5B. That's what I'm going to call it. So, yeah. I'm looking forward to this for sure. There's a lot that I really want to see, and this is going to be long, even divided in half. So, let's get started. 3, 2, 1, play. Hopefully I'm close enough to the microphone that it won't be too quiet, because I've had that problem before.
The court is now back in session.
Gotcha.
Miss Trixie, were you able to gather this manager?
Yes, she is prepared. If you truly want this.
Well, I'd like to hear how she found this peculiar stick.
I'd like to hear it too.
She had to have been in the forest. And that means she may have done it. But Trixie's right. She isn't a Pegasus. There's no way she could have manipulated that cloud.
Maybe, maybe not.
For the worst, hope for the best.
I mean, she is a unicorn. Unicorns do magic. So, magic makes it all complete.
Oh, you look strangely familiar.
Okay, I still gotta turn down the volume because I can't hear myself talk. Gotta hear myself
really
talk.
Going to attempt to pin this on me, right? As you know, I've been watching the whole time, and I'm not impressed.
Don't ignore Trixie. State your name and occupation for the record.
Please be quiet. The grown-ups are speaking. You have no right sticking your nose in the law.
What?
Oh boy.
Even to me, it's a mystery how you managed to put yourself on that bench.
How dare you?
It must really hurt that vanity of yours. Looking in the mirror every morning, seeing nothing but a washed-up charlatan with revenge as your only form of closure. It's kind of pathetic when you think about it.
That's really insulting.
Does this pony have something against Trixie, Phoenix?
Short answer, yes.
You see, I know everything there is to know about you, Trixie.
Oh.
So what? That's
She
a
knows
clear
all of
flattering
Trixie's
statement.
secrets.
Oh, really now? Let's talk about poor little Trixie.
She's just gonna insult
Let's
Trixie.
talk about how great and powerful you really are. Let's talk about what you really desire. Because unlike everyone else, I know.
How did you...
I know
All her
what
secrets.
drives the real Trixie to do what she does. It has nothing to do with her last visit, as she's led many of you to believe. That was just the icing on the cake. The Trixie we see right now is nothing but a helpless phony taking on this egotistical persona to cover up her pitiful insecurities. Her real talent should be pretending. Smoke.
What does this even have to do with
That's
anything?
all she is. And I'm not talking about her little magic show. As I said before, it's really pathetic. Oh? Have you finally run out of arrogant lies?
Enough! Witness,
Yeah.
state your name and occupation for the record.
Sonata, former manager.
Way to go,
of the
Judge.
Big Ace.
Finally getting her to talk.
Now where was I? Oh yes, right. You were accusing me of being in that forest based off a vague testimony given by a vague witness. That witness says she saw me by the forest? I say I was in my hotel room all night. Now that brings me to you, right? I believe you broke into my hotel room with that pink pony. I wish to press charges against you both immediately.
Ooh, already.
Here are some detailed photographs of both of their prints all around my room. I'm sure if you compare them, you'll get matching results.
Oh, great. Here we
Oh.
go.
There it is.
Mr. Wright, is this true?
I'll face the consequences of my actions later.
No. Right now. You broke the law and I want justice.
Just as Trixie stated earlier, it's an unrelated crime, just like Mr. Cruise Control's assault on me, and it shouldn't be brought up in the current case at hand.
Mr. Wright, I'm shocked you would do something like this.
But I didn't want to do it!
I can't simply let actions like this go unpunished. What's the prosecution's stance on this matter?
Come on, Trixie.
Look too hot.
Trixie.
Well, I suppose if there are no objections, Phoenix Wright and Pinkie Pie can face their charges in due time.
That's right.
Score one for the good guys.
Whatever. See if I care. This outlandish accusation of yours is just going to fall flat on its face anyway.
That's it for the blackmail.
Sonata,
We got that over with
a perfect description of you carrying
already.
a stick near the forest on the night of the murder.
I'll say it again. I wasn't anywhere near the forest that night.
I've got to tie her into this somehow. Your Honor, I'd like to hear what Sonata was doing that night in further detail.
Now that I've seen Miss Sonata's appearance, the previous witness's description does seem to match up. Miss Sonata, please testify as to what you were doing the night of the murder.
Thank you, Judge.
If I must.
Yeah, you must.
I was settling in my hotel room
Come on.
after picking up some
Come on.
equipment for Ace. He wasn't at the hotel, so I figured he was practicing for the race. I went to bed and was woken up at 12 a.m. by the police knocking at my hotel room door. The police had informed me of Ace's fate. That witness must be mistaken. I wasn't anywhere near the forest that night. And I certainly wasn't carrying that golf club you keep waving around.
Oh, so you were in your hotel room while the murder occurred?
That is correct, Your Honor. That witness must have been seeing things because I didn't go anywhere near the Everfree Forest.
She's lying.
I hate to change the subject, but look at Trixie.
Seems
Still
Sonata
depressed.
really got to her.
I feel kind of bad for her.
Yeah, me too.
Well, no matter. I have to focus on breaking this testimony.
I feel bad for Trixie too.
I was settling in my
But
hotel room after picking up some
more
equipment
important things,
for
I
Ace.
guess.
Hold it! What kind of equipment?
Athletic equipment, knee pads, helmets, stuff like that. He played all kinds of sports.
Speaking of equipment, any clue as to why he was wearing the lightning-proof suit that night?
He wore it all the time with a race coming up. The outfit is quite uncomfortable from what I'm told, and he practiced wearing it before the race to get used to the discomfort.
Do you have anyone to confirm you were shopping that day?
No, I don't.
Then this alibi of yours isn't looking too reliable at all.
How would you wish me to prove it? The store is quite busy with the race coming up. I doubt they'd remember one customer from a few days ago.
What about a receipt? You said you bought some items there. Without one, you could have been...
I have it right here.
Ooh,
Ah!
a receipt.
You didn't think I'd come unprepared, did you?
It says her items were rung in at 7:30 p.m.
This proves she was shopping a little before the murder. There's still a big enough time frame to put her in the forest.
He wasn't at the hotel, so I figured he was practicing for the race. I went to bed and was woken up at 12 a.m. by the police knocking at my hotel room door.
Hold it! Weren't you concerned where he was?
I was his manager, not his babysitter.
That doesn't mean you shouldn't make an effort finding him, especially with his big race coming up soon.
If you haven't noticed, I can't fly. There would be no point wasting my time searching for him when I can only search on land.
Guess it would be a little hard to find someone who can fly while you're grounded. And what time did you go to sleep?
8:30.
And that's around the time he was killed. If she really was in the forest that night, she has to be lying here.
The police had informed me of Ace's fate.
Hold it! How did you react to his death?
Ooh,
I cried.
That's pretty personal.
You... cried?
Yes, it's a complex secretomotor phenomenon characterized by the shedding of...
He knows what
lack of
crying
apparatus
is.
without any irritation of the ocular structures.
Thank you,
I know what
Twilight.
crying is. I just can't see her crying.
Like I said to you earlier, I got over it quickly. Those police who came to my door can confirm this as well.
I've got to ask them if her tears were made out of icicles.
You know,
That witness
you could
must
bring
be
up the
mistaken. I wasn't
note
anywhere
now
near the
because
forest that
she already
night.
pressed charges against him.
The witness is not mistaken.
Mr. Wright, this same witness had a problem with her testimony yesterday. What makes you think she is not wrong this time?
Because she identified you perfectly under Luna's light. I doubt with her secluded lifestyle she's ever seen you before that point.
Ace was famous. She could have read a newspaper like Equestria Daily. I've had that several times. Who knows? Maybe she's just describing me to shift the blame off her friend.
You really think Fluttershy's one to lie?
Why not? Didn't you accuse her of perjury just yesterday, right? Since the prosecution doesn't seem to be up to speed, can you please put a stop to Mr. Wright's baseless claims against me, Your Honor?
Oh, yes, I must stop this line of questioning about the previous witness's credibility.
It's alright. I just wanted a little more information. Time to go in for the coup de grace.
Oh boy.
And I certainly wasn't carrying that golf club you keep waving around.
Objection! Sonata, I'm very curious.
About what?
This stick. You claim you weren't carrying it.
And I'll say again, I wasn't.
But what I find odd here is what you called it in your testimony. I certainly wasn't carrying that golf club you keep waving around. Sonata, this stick looks nothing like a golf club, nor has anyone referred it to one during the duration of the trial.
I
It was
did
a
think
golf
about
club at
that,
one
but
time.
I
You're
thought they
correct
just...
about that.
This
thought
thing
they
is
just-
a golf club?
I thought they knew.
My apologies, but I really don't see it.
That's because the end was broken off, Your Honor. I have reason to believe this strange metal object I found on the scene of the crime is the missing piece.
It does resemble a golf club if that piece were to be put on the end of the stick.
But right now, it's nothing but a dilapidated stick. Tell us, Sonata, how did you know this was a golf club?
Oh boy.
Do you think you're some sort of knight in shining armor?
Changing the subject,
Save
huh?
the day? Because you're not. You're just another bottom-feeding defense attorney pointing out trivial details.
Mr. Wright has pointed out a crucial flaw. How did you know this mangled stick was a golf club?
Defense attorneys fabricate the most interesting little fairy tales to protect criminals.
She's avoiding the
Something's
question.
wrong when a talking unicorn accuses you of telling fairy tales.
Miss Sonata, please answer the
Point
question.
taken.
I was mistaken. I have seen this stick before, as a golf club. Remember I said I was shopping for sports equipment that day? I saw a golf club at the store with the same unique handle shape. Namely, that P on the end of it, like the one you're holding.
You saw it at the store?
Yes. Like I said, he's just admirably trying to defend a murderer. Oh, did I say admirably? I meant shamefully.
I just got the strangest sense of deja vu.
Oh boy.
What do you mean?
Her phony baloney excuse reminded me of another case.
You can prove she didn't see the golf club at the store?
Yeah, just watch.
Oh really? That's interesting.
Your Honor, she could not have seen this golf club at the store.
Really?
Yes, and I have proof.
Do go on, Mr. Wright.
You see, Sonata couldn't have seen this golf club because it's one of a kind.
Huh?
Hey, that's right. Pinkie Pie
Let me
made it.
introduce the court to the Pinky Iron Mark V, the very first innovation patented by a one Pinkamena Diane Pie.
Oh, right. That was Pinky's golf club.
Of course. Yeah.
See.
It's a very small detail, but he's got good
It's our
memory for
first
that stuff.
question. What happened to Mark 1 through 4?
Never mind that. The point is, it's impossible for Sonata to have seen this club in the store, Because it was crafted by Pinkie Pie and lost in the forest when she tried giving it a test run. Not only does this prove Sonata here couldn't have seen the club at the store, but also, the only time she could have seen it whole was in the forest after Pinkie lost it.
Oh, nice. Ah! Finally, that sound effect.
You, Sonata, she lost it in the forest a week ago.
Oh boy.
While you only arrived in Ponyville 3 days ago. The only place you could have seen it whole was the Everfree Forest.
Yep.
Miss Sonata, explain this!
I finally broke her. Let's see how she talks her way out of this one.
Actually, I don't need to say anything.
I'm afraid you do. The defense has proven that you've seen this golf club while it was still one piece.
But do you remember why I was dragged in here? All because of that other witness. Let's not beat around the bush, shall we? It's obvious you're trying to say I was in the forest that night. Right? Right? Then tell me, why didn't Fluttershy see me leave? She said she saw me walking towards Ponyville, but testified yesterday she saw nothing leave the forest at all.
There has to be some explanation.
You're trying to plant me in that forest based on her testimony. Therefore, you need an explanation as to why she didn't see me leave.
The broken golf club should be enough proof. Gilda confirmed it.
Okay, I'll humor you. Let's assume I was near the forest. Not in it, just near it. Since we are to disregard Fluttershy's testimony as she didn't see me leave, who is to say Rainbow Dash or Gilda didn't carry the golf club and I found it there? I don't believe picking up a stick is a crime.
Well, she does bring up some valid points, right? I can't allow you to continue accusing her if you cannot provide stronger evidence she was inside that forest. But your client's verdict has been handed down, and unless you're willing to provide a substantial amount of evidence against this manager to convince me otherwise, I won't hesitate to end the trial right now.
What do I do?
Actually, Phoenix, I think I know how she did it. But I could be wrong. It's highly unlikely, but Sonata could have teleported.
Teleported?
Yes, but like I said, it's very unlikely. It's a very advanced unicorn spell. Not many unicorns even know how to do it. Unicorns like Trixie and I can perform it without as many repercussions since our cutie marks specialize in magic.
This is interesting.
I actually think she does know it.
You think this witness knows how to...
Oh, they overheard her.
Mr. Wright?
They overheard their conversation. Okay.
These pictures of a book I found in her hotel room.
Hey, you can't confirm that book belongs to me!
Would you like to go through the arduous process we went through yesterday to prove it does? Knowing what it will reveal, I have a feeling you don't.
Does that book belong to you, witness?
Yes, it does.
What are you doing? Why don't you tell every pony about her blackmailing?
Because she obviously doesn't want it revealed. I can use it to make her sing like a canary. Guess you should have thought about that before trying to get me arrested.
Force her to tell the truth about the smaller details, and eventually they'll start piling up on her. Good thinking, Phoenix.
It's no good to us anyway until we get her in the forest. Her blackmailing won't really help us on why Ace was killed.
Right, Miss Sparkle, can you please stop whispering over there and tell us about this book?
Sorry, Your Honor. This is an advanced spellbook. If we can find a teleportation spell inside, it proves Sonata could have escaped the forest without using the entrance.
Okay.
But these pages, Mr. Wright, I can't make a lick of sense out of them. I'm not familiar with these characters.
We have a magically adept unicorn with an astute mind for the subject right here to confirm if there's a teleportation spell in this book. Twilight Sparkle.
Yes.
Miss Sparkle,
that's right.
Can you please confirm if there is a teleportation
confirm it.
in this book as Mr. Wright claims?
Yes, Your Honor, I can.
Objection!
She says it so proudly.
No, you don't! Her decoding what it says would be biased.
Hey, I won't lie.
Sorry, but this court can't take that chance. You being friends
Okay,
with the
then how about
press
Trixie
completely
confirming it?
ruins your credibility.
Any other suggestions?
We could get a professor from Canterlot's Magic Academy to confirm it, if I can't. It shouldn't take long once I find the spell. I'll just have Spike send a copy of the inscription from the book to the Academy.
Very well. I'll grant a short recess for the defence to analyse this book in the photograph and give time for Miss Sparkle to gather her findings.
Or a neutral third party, I guess.
The spell Twilight Sparkle located in the book was indeed the relocation spell. It was also verified by the head professor in Canterlot's main magic academy.
So there is the possibility she may have teleported from the forest.
So what? The spell is in my book, but you can't prove I actually know this spell. I don't know how to execute it.
You're saying you don't know how to teleport?
If I owned a book on quantum physics, would that mean I had a master's degree in quantum physics?
Good point.
Hey, I actually own a great, insightful book on quantum physics, and I don't mean to brag,
Oh
but
boy.
I know a lot about quantum physics, and I study it regularly. You never know when you might need quantum physics to get you out of a jam. It's a really fascinating subject, and I take great pride and passion in...
Right, because quantum physics is very important in this case, of course.
Sorry.
I don't even know what quantum
Many
physics
unicorns
means.
like me have a
Like,
hard time
I know what
executing
physics
that
means,
rare
but
spell.
what does quantum
A
mean
good
in front of
percentage
it?
just don't have it in them to do it. It's even more difficult for one such as myself, as my talent isn't magic like the defense's co-counsel and the prosecution. And besides that, even if I was able to teleport...
You have no
riddle me
proof that she
this,
did it.
Right. If you're claiming I teleported, why would I not teleport back to my hotel room?
Huh?
If you're accusing me of secretly being in the forest, why would I compromise everything by teleporting near Fluttershy's abode, leaving myself exposed and vulnerable, not being able to use magic?
You do what now?
Since you seem a great deal ignorant to this, perhaps your co-counsel would like to explain this spell in a little more detail, as she seems to be an expert on it.
Okay. It works like this.
Oh boy. Oh, a little bit of an animation right there. Alright.
When performing a teleportation
God, this is pretty
spell,
cool.
you need 3 things. A mental image of your destination, stalwart concentration, and natural magic talent. A less talented unicorn could learn the teleportation spell and perform it well enough to make one big jump from deep inside the forest to almost anywhere in Ponyville, but their magic would be completely diminished afterwards.
So what you're saying is, if you were guilty of being in the forest that night and didn't want to be caught...
Why would I teleport right in front of Fluttershy's house, out in the open, so she could potentially catch me, and not to my hotel room? Do I look that stupid?
I hate to say it, but she's right.
Uh,
If she really did teleport, why
didn't
would she make
Fluttershy see her
The
when
limits on
entering?
teleportation are you can only jump to places you've
Or
seen
was
with
it
your
when
own
leaving?
eyes.
I
It
thought
doesn't make
I
any
thought it
sense
was
she'd
when
teleport
entering.
somewhere she'd get caught.
And we know Sonata must have been in that hotel room beforehand. She was Ace's manager. There's got to be some explanation for this.
Seeing as you do not have any proof as to why Fluttershy didn't see me leave the forest, may I please go now? I've had enough of this 3-ring circus you call a trial.
Wait, but she said Fluttershy didn't see her leave the forest, and now she's claiming that Fluttershy did see her? That's weird. Why is Trixie happy
Miss
to?
Trixie, may
What is
I
it?
ask
What
what
is
is
it?
so funny?
I thought I shut you up earlier.
Oh, it's just that Trixie knows of a reason why this witness didn't teleport all the way back to her hotel room.
You do? Why are you...
Why are you helping the defense?
You need to be taught some manners, you impudent hussy.
Hey.
No pony, and I mean no pony, disrespects the great and powerful Trixie.
This is exactly why she shouldn't be prosecuting.
Looks like the Trixie we all know and love is back.
Mm-hmm.
But why is she helping us?
I don't think she's doing it to help us, more so to defend her pride.
Yep.
Either way, I'm not
Yep.
complaining. Let's just see where this
Yep.
goes.
Miss Trixie, you have an idea as to why the witness here didn't teleport all the way back to the hotel?
Trixie certainly does, Your Honor. During Trixie's extravagant magic show, the grand finale involves teleportation. Trixie would use her magnificent, unrivaled powers to teleport behind the audience, letting off a display of fireworks and other grand visuals to put the crowd in a state of sheer awe.
Okay.
Well,
What's this have
aren't
to do
you
with anything?
special?
Since the advent of a lavender loser, Trixie has received some tough crowds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Trixie's talking about you, Twilight Snarkle. Your stupid bang.
Okay, being a little
Twilight
predictable.
Snarkle?
I
Not
know.
predictable.
It's
What
the
am I
worst insult I've ever heard. And what's worse is she keeps attacking my bangs.
Personal. Whatever.
What's wrong with my bangs?
I forget what I
Look
was
at
gonna
my
say.
tail.
I don't know. I actually thought your fringe looked kind of cute.
Trixie has had tomatoes and an assortment of other fruit and vegetables tossed at her.
Phoenix
during
just
the
called.
show.
Phoenix just called Twilight cute.
Huh?
I'm out.
I know
I'm
where
out.
Trixie is going with this.
I'm out. I'm out.
Care to enlighten me?
Just listen.
During one of her shows, Trixie was preparing for her teleportation.
All I'm saying is that
when
there's a
wretched
potential ship
apple
now
hit
between
Trixie
Phoenix and
interrupted
Twilight.
her.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying
She
that's.
ended up in the middle of the crowd instead of behind them.
What? How does that work?
When a unicorn loses focus of a teleportation spell while channeling magic, as Dorky Bangs mentioned,
Dorky Bangs.
results will be random. You'll end up anywhere between point A and B. Trixie
Aha.
isn't saying that sad excuse of a unicorn on the stand bumbled it up, though. Just that it's a possible explanation for why she ended up where she did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe this. You're doing everything wrong!
Speaking of wrong, the ball is in your court now. Whether that's what happened or not is for you to prove.
Hey.
I'm still.
Well, that's
shocked
something.
Trixie just did that.
Me too. But it's useless unless we can prove something interrupted Sonata while she prepared to teleport.
How can we prove something like that? I've been looking through our evidence and I don't see a thing.
Actually, I think I got it.
Oh. Oh.
Your Honor,
Oh.
I think I know what could have startled Sonata.
And what is that, Miss
A lightning
White?
bolt,
The
right?
answer is obvious.
The lightning
it was
bolt?
the lightning bolt.
Yeah!
Ooh,
I got it.
that makes sense.
I got
That
it.
sound would have startled anyone, especially if they were in a dark, spooky forest at the time.
Exactly.
Yep. Yep.
Sure you want to suggest that, Mr. Wrong?
Uh-oh.
The first lightning bolt struck at 8:40, meaning Sonata would have a perfect alibi. She would have been preparing to leave the forest before any of the lightning struck. That is, if you're really trying to pin this on her.
What about the second one?
Yeah, what about the
We've
second
been
one?
through this trite. 3 witnesses testified to not hearing it. We can still see, without a doubt, that lightning bolt did not make a sound that night. But if you would like to suggest that the first lightning bolt startled her, Trixie's all fine and dandy with that.
It seems Sonata has a tighter alibi than before.
That can't be. Just look at her. She's sweating bullets right now.
If you had a Neanderthal with a goofy haircut and an evil purple-shaded nerd lobbing false
Evil.
accusations at you, would you be sitting there with a happy smile on your
Evil.
She
Evil.
has a point, right?
She just called Twilight
face?
evil?
This is such a glorious day for Trixie.
Hmm.
Trixie has finally exacted her revenge on Twilight Snarkle, had a dangerous criminal banished, and put the stupid four-eyed bimbo in her place. Can you say hat trick?
Plus, I was probably
It's a
wrong with
good
the
thing
lightning,
Trixie had
so
confirmation of that first
that
bolt.
disappointed me.
Otherwise, all this wouldn't have been possible.
I got it. I know what startled Sonata here. Not only that, but I can clear up another mystery too.
Of why the second bolt didn't make any noise?
Please do go on, Mr.
Or why the
White.
witnesses didn't hear it?
Let's think back to yesterday. We had a certain little
boy.
witness confirm the time of the first bolt for us.
Oh, you mean that cute filly?
Yes, Your Honor.
Cute filly.
Applebloom was lost in the forest for quite some time, when all of a sudden, she bumped into something.
She bumped into
We've
something.
already concluded that was irrelevant information, though.
Or was it?
Not exactly. Because I think the thing Applebloom bumped into is right there on the stand.
Oh, snap.
Let's bring ourselves back to that night.
Snap.
Applebloom
Oh,
was
snap.
lost in the forest and bumped into something
Snap.
she couldn't see,
Snap.
making it jump from what she
Applebloom.
described.
Applebloom.
Suddenly she sees a
What
large
up?
light she thought was lightning, but was actually the teleportation spell.
Oh, nice.
Uh-oh, looks like he found you out.
Hey.
Sonata was preparing to teleport
That's
to
it.
the
She
hotel
bumped
room,
into
no doubt.
Applebloom.
But she was startled by Applebloom bashing into her out of nowhere and lost her focus. Applebloom ended up being an unintentional stowaway during Sonata's incomplete teleportation spell. The
That's what
interruption took them
happened.
both not to Sonata's room, but right near Fluttershy's cottage. That's why Fluttershy didn't see Applebloom leave the forest. Sonata brought her out by teleporting. Drained after using an advanced spell and being next to a blind, disoriented filly, Sonata had no choice but to run eastward with a golf club in her mouth. Applebloom, however, walked home to Sweet Apple Acres in the south.
This is ridiculous. You have no proof I did this.
No point in denying it anymore. We all know you were in that forest, Four Eyes. So why don't you...
You know, I really hate the Four Eyes insult. Because I wore glasses when I was younger, as a kid.
Where you've seen that golf club before?
Making fun of someone for wearing glasses is kind of, like, one of the most pathetic things you can do, honestly.
This is the best explanation we have.
You're caught, Sonata. Time to face the music. What were you doing in the forest that night?
I refuse to testify. I reserve the right to remain silent in any case where my testimony could lead to self-incrimination.
Oh, please. Perhaps Trixie can once again enlighten every pony.
Oh boy, let's do it.
See, our sophisticated-looking business pony here has a gloomy secret. Trixie's brilliant mind was able to find this out yesterday, after the conclusion of the analysis of that filthy griffin feather.
This has to do with why she was in the forest?
Yes, it does. Little Miss Sonata here is a dirty blackmailer.
Oh boy.
No!
Did Sonata blackmail Trixie?
Wait, you knew about that?
Of course Trixie knew. Why do you ask, Mr. Wrong?
I was kind of saving that information for my ace in the hole.
Too late, Trixie beat you to it.
Oh boy.
Trixie knew those pictures of rainbow trash had something to do with this. So Trixie simply asked the local developers for a record of their clients.
Why didn't I think of that?
And they told Trixie it was you, Four Eyes.
Nice.
Simply connected the dots to why this manager of an undefeated athlete would develop pictures like those. She and the victim were in cahoots with each other, blackmailing rainbow trash and probably many more throughout the late Mr. Swift's career.
Well, how about that?
If the prosecution and defense knew about this, well, why didn't they bring it up sooner?
Trixie could have spoken for Mr. Wrong, but she didn't because the situation didn't call for it. Trixie didn't believe there was a way this witness could have been in the forest, but we seem to have proven otherwise.
And I couldn't because, she was blackmailing me.
You let her blackmail you? Wow, you really are a loser.
Oh boy.
Miss Sonata, were you blackmailing the defense's client?
No, I wasn't. I would never do anything like that.
These papers say otherwise. I found all these in Sonata's hotel room, and this particular letter, blackmailing my client, matches Sonata's writing.
There you have it. Trixie has used her brilliance to triumph over a snide liar.
There we go.
Miss Sonata, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Oh man. What's she doing with that pencil? Oh, snapping it. Nice.
Taking advantage of others like
I like
that,
the
you're
little
despicable.
animations thrown in there. It's pretty cool.
Spare me. You've finally proven I was in the forest and that I was blackmailing your client. But that hardly makes me a murderer.
We'll see about that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hear what you were doing in the forest that night.
There's no escaping either. You've already cast too much suspicion over yourself to just waltz out of here. Oh, and Mr. Wrong.
What is it?
Let Trixie make one thing crystal clear.
Mm-hmm.
Trixie still knows for a fact Rainbow Trash is the true culprit of this crime.
Then why did you...
Because Trixie needs the correct facts before she can properly prosecute that rainbow loser. In fact, this whole blackmail revelation sets that motive you so desperately wanted before. Rainbow Trash killed him because the cheater and his bimbo manager were blackmailing her.
Gee, here I thought she was just being nice.
Well,
Whatever.
it still
I
helped.
wasn't planning on leaving anyway. I'll tell you why I was in there that night, and show you why it still doesn't matter.
Oh
Don't
boy.
sit there so comfortably.
We're gonna get a
right?
new testimony.
This is far from over. And Trixie? I dislike you.
That's it?
Thought I'd reiterate that in case it wasn't clear enough.
I thought it would be a little more than dislike.
Thank you. Trixie gets that a lot.
That wasn't a compliment, Trixie.
Might as well, man. Oh boy.
No point in hiding it. Ace and I were blackmailing Rainbow Dash. We
Yep.
ordered her to meet in the Everfree Forest.
Mm-hmm.
I got there long before Ace, and I hid in some foliage near the meeting place. Rainbow Dash showed up and made negotiations with Ace. She declined and flew up high, hitting a storm cloud she put there in foresight. I watched
So now
as
the
a
blackmail is all
hit
out there
Ace
now?
directly on one of the exposed parts on his suit. It sent him flying a few feet, as the prosecution stated. I got out of the forest as fast as I could. That is all that happened. This changes nothing.
This still doesn't explain why you took the golf club.
I still deny touching that. I only saw it on the crime scene.
You aren't too smart, are you? You were the last pony in there, and it was found outside the forest.
Not to mention you're the only suspect. There's no way Fluttershy could have seen the handle before that point, other than when she saw you walking with it.
Then maybe she's the one who took it out. You said your pink accomplice lost the accursed thing in that forest a week ago. Therefore, Fluttershy could have witnessed her lose it. The forest is near her cottage, after all. Though she saw me going towards town, there is a large time frame where she was alone. You have no way to tie me to that golf club other than what she claims she saw. I was simply in the forest to oversee our deal with Rainbow Dash, who I then witnessed kill Ace.
Who does
All
she
right.
think she's fooling?
Alright. Let's see where this goes.
Nix, I don't mean to interrupt you, but
But what?
What is it?
there's something that rubs me the wrong way about the testimony she gave.
Huh? There is? What is it?
Call it intuition. I think it has something to do with what I found yesterday.
I better look through the evidence Twilight gave me.
Yep. That's right. That's pretty cool though. That's like a little hint, even though I'm not playing the game. It's as if, you know, you could play it.
We ordered her to meet
I like
in
that.
the
That's
Everfree Forest.
really nice.
Why would you want to meet in the forest? Surely you know how dangerous
right.
it is in there.
Right,
Ace
cross-examination,
and
of
I
course.
personally liked making these deals in secluded locations. We couldn't risk flies on the wall listening in.
And this is how you had your victims cooperate. You were able to find their weaknesses using that talent of yours. It's probably why he was really wearing that lightning-proof suit. Not to prepare for the race, but to attempt to conceal his identity from Rainbow Dash in the dark forest, as you just naturally blended in with your dark colors.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
It's worked up to this point. Well, besides two individuals who went against my terms. One being the defendant, the other... I'm sure you know who that is, right? Don't you? But both of them are going to get their just desserts soon enough.
Uh-huh. We'll see.
As much as Trixie would love to see you both arrested, we honestly don't care how you cheat and manipulate. Let's get back to what you saw in the forest, Four Eyes.
Hey.
And manipulate. Do you really think you have the right to judge me? What do you say we all
maybe.
talk about you and your pitifully weak vendetta against the Defense's co-counsel over there? That's right, Twilight.
What?
It stems past the humiliation she suffered from you. Isn't that right, Trixie?
What? What?
Huh. Don't even bother trying to pull that one again, lady. Trixie was a fool to let some blackmailing hussy get to her the first time. Even if Trixie has to get you off the hook for Mr. Wrong's murder accusation, you're still getting locked up for your other crimes. Trixie hopes you enjoy stale bread, because that's all you're going to be eating for a long time.
Stale bread. That's funny.
Miss Sonata, please continue your testimony.
Yeah.
What are they talking about?
Thank you, Judge, for getting back on track.
I'll tell you later. You've got to focus on winning here.
I guess something else happened.
I got there
Oh,
long
boy.
before Ace, and I hid in some foliage near the meeting place. Rainbow Dash showed up and made negotiations with Ace.
Hold it! And what were these negotiations?
For her to drop out of the race.
Why didn't you just have her lose? Why have her drop out completely?
Several reasons. Because of her performance at another event, it's clear she's the better athlete in every way, shape, and form. But the main reason was because of her arrogance and pride. If she were to participate in that race, there was a chance her competitive nature would kick in, and she would throw away all bets and try to win, even at the price of those pictures being exposed.
I've only known her for a day and a half, and that really sounds like something Rainbow Dash would do.
She declined and flew up high, hitting a storm cloud she put there in foresight. I watched as a lightning bolt hit Ace directly on one of the exposed parts on his suit. It sent him flying a few feet, as the prosecution stated.
Hold it! I'd like to ask you what you witnessed here, Sonata. Unlike Gilda, you actually saw this, correct?
Every solitary detail, yes.
How were you able to see all this? I'm sure Rainbow Dash would have seen you if you were illuminating the area with your horn.
That's because I didn't. The lightning itself lit up the area after she set it off. In that split second, I was able to see everything that had happened.
Would you care to share these details?
After the negotiations went sour, Rainbow flew up and hit that cloud. As you know, there are some exposed parts on that racing suit. I saw Ace look up, bewildered at what she was doing, and the bolt hit him directly on his neck. As Gilda claimed the prosecution theorized, the lightning's impact hurtled his body a few feet.
His neck, huh?
I got out of the forest as fast as I could. That is all that happened. This changes nothing.
So what about his... It's about his neck, isn't it?
Looks like you saw things wrong here, Sonata. Or maybe you're just lying.
What are you talking about?
Something else should have happened there.
What? What is it?
Something else?
What is it? Because I'm very bad at
Right here
this
in the
stuff.
autopsy report.
I
There
can't
was a
follow
burn mark on
along.
the back of the victim's neck. Sonata, if you watch these events transpire, how did he come to acquire this scar?
I left the forest right away. How should I know?
I don't think so. You didn't leave the forest right away.
How would you know that?
Do you remember what time Apple Bloom got out?
Oh, that's right.
9
That's
o'clock.
right.
Cursity of Sonata.
Hey.
Seeing as the lightning bolt hit 8:40, and it's only a 15-minute walk to the entrance, that leaves a long time frame where you were still inside the forest.
Yep.
In fact,
Point taken.
it's even larger considering you admitted to teleporting out. So I'll ask again. Where did he get that scar?
Objection! She did explain where he got it. The lightning itself must have struck in his exposed neck.
Objection! Not according to another detail Sonata shared.
What about it?
She stated, I saw Ace look up, bewildered at what she was doing, and the bolt hit him directly on the neck.
You're right. It would have left a mark on the front of his neck if he was looking up.
Oh, looking up. Okay. Okay.
Care to explain this, Four Eyes?
That mark isn't from the lightning bolt. That mark was from the day before the incident. Ace was in a dangerous race inside a Freet's volcano and must have picked up the nasty scar from some embers.
Well, that could explain it. His schedule confirms that he was indeed racing in that volcano the day before he came into Ponyville.
Racing inside of a volcano?
It would have still been fresh.
This is pretty dangerous!
Of all places you could race, why would any pony with a sane mind feel...
Yeah! Exactly! Why race inside of a volcano?
High risk, high reward. The prize was a
crazy.
treasure known as the Flame Dragon.
That, honestly, like, racing inside of a big volcano should be illegal. That's insane.
Problem.
Shut up, wrong. She gave you a good explanation for the burn.
Do you have a doctor's note to confirm this injury?
He didn't like doctors, so it doesn't really come as a surprise that he didn't want to get it checked out.
So you're saying he had this burn mark on his neck before he even arrived in Ponyville?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Mr. Wright is doing what defense attorneys do best, trying to make something out of irrelevant details.
Ooh, it's at like the 45-minute mark.
Huh?
I should probably
something
pause
wrong
it, but...
He couldn't have had that burn mark before.
I'll pause it at the 50-minute mark,
Twilight,
since it
I'm
already
supposed to
has.
keep a lawyer here.
Stick to the books, Snarkle.
Besides, it's getting pretty good.
From his race in the volcano.
No, he didn't. And I have proof.
Proof.
Twilight, you
Proof.
really shouldn't.
Proof.
A pony named Cruise Control gave this to me yesterday.
And what about it?
It's a picture of the victim entering the forest. With the timestamp on it, it shows it was taken 20 minutes before the crime even took place.
What are you trying to prove here, Snarkle? Every
Oh, that there's no burn mark on the neck.
I'm not trying to prove he
Right.
wasn't there. Look closer and you'll see exactly what I'm trying to prove.
No burn mark on the neck. No burn mark on the neck.
You see it, don't you?
It's a bare
There's
neck.
no burn mark on the back of his neck.
Oh my! She's right!
This proves he acquired that scar while he was
That's a lot of excitement. Oh my!
Oh
She
my
is
gosh,
right!
Did Pony see that? That felt so exhilarating! This is so exciting! I found a flaw in her testimony! Do you all think I sounded professional enough? Oh, I'm going to tell the princess about this!
Twilight, relax.
Yep, there's a lot more she's got to take care of.
Sorry, I got a little carried away.
Maybe a little. But thank you anyway. Let me take the reins from here.
Alright.
Sonata.
Yeah, I think
As my
Phoenix is a little
co-counsel
more
pointed out,
fit for the position than
he
Twilight
couldn't
would
have
have been.
acquired that scar prior to entering the forest.
It was from the golf club.
The golf club?
Oh,
I'd
really?
like to hear how this golf club resulted in a burn mark.
Oh boy. Now this is
When
interesting.
Rainbow Dash set the cloud off, the bolt was large enough to hit Ace as well as the ground. The bolt had started a fire, and it was my burden to put it out. He fell to the ground, neck landing on the golf club and breaking it. That's how the burn mark got there. I moved the body and stick aside and put out the fire myself. I ran away from the crime.
Why would she
after
hide the
experiencing
detail like
such
the
an
golf club,
incident,
though?
but returned later when I realized I forgot to take the golf club.
So you really did take the golf club?
Yes, I did. Problem?
You were just denying earlier you even touched it.
That's because I tampered with the crime scene. That would have me, and is going to have me, put away for quite some time.
Then why admit it now?
Because I'm already going to jail for my victory methods, what's a little longer to clear this outlandish murder accusation you're trying to put on me?
But why would you carry this golf club out?
Because I touched it when I moved it aside. I wanted to remove all evidence I was there.
Okay, focus, Phoenix. She's constantly revising the story. She has to run out of excuses sooner or later.
Yep. Let's do this then. Cross-examination. But I'm probably gonna pause it so I can, like, you
When
know,
Rainbow
reset my
Dash
camera.
set the cloud off,
Because it
the
doesn't
bolt was
record longer
large
than an
enough
hour.
to hit Ace as well as the ground.
Okay.
How big was this fire?
Quite large. You were at the clearing, were you not? You'd probably noticed the scarring on the ground. That's how big it was before I put it out.
How did you manage to put it out?
I used Ace's bag to beat it down.
Wait a minute. If you took the golf club because you touched it, why did you leave the bag behind?
It didn't matter. I've touched that bag 1,000,000 times before. Ace's butler, too. His stylist, and even his mother when she packs his lunches.
His mother still packs his lunch? How old is he?
25.
I'm just gonna pretend she didn't answer that.
The point is, there were tons of indications others have touched it aside from me. And I wanted Rainbow Dash to pay for not only not following our terms, but killing Ace. So I purposely left those pictures behind.
Okay. We're getting about there, about there, about there, about there, almost there.
Why did you feel the need to put it out?
And stop. Okay, we're at the 50-minute mark. I will continue this in just a little bit. I gotta reset my camera. Let's do that now. And the camera's reset. So, yeah. It's time to get back into this. Aren't you excited? I'm excited, yes. Okay, 50-minute mark. And we will stop it at around 1:30. I'll make it 1:30. I think that's. No, we'll just do 120. We'll do 120. 120. I think that's fair enough. Okay, 3, 2, 1, play.
Drawing attention to the scene was my main concern.
Because it's technically
If someone were to see that fire,
2:34:04,
it would attract other opponents,
so it's like another
and you
5
would be
minutes.
caught on the crime scene.
I don't know. I'm just too into this. I want to see as much of it as I can right now.
He fell to the ground, neck landing on the golf club and breaking it. That's how the burn mark got there.
He fell
Let's
on
see
the
it.
club?
I heard it snap as he landed on top of it. So I guess so.
And that's how the burn got there.
I hurried to the flaming area and tried to put out the fire. His body was in the way, so I moved him and the stick out of the flames. The fire must have heated up the metal on the stick, broke, and left that burn mark on his neck.
That would mean the body wasn't hurtled by the lightning. Sonata was the one who moved both him and the stick to the dirt patch where Gilda discovered him.
I moved the body and stick aside and put out the fire myself.
Objection! Sonata, what you just said doesn't line up.
Oh,
Why
how
not?
so?
You
Let's see
said
it.
the golf club was laying in the fire. But just look at it. It smoldered and burnt beyond any recognition. If Ace was really laying in the fire for as long as the golf club, the exposed parts on the suit should be all burned, not just a small one from the stick. Flesh burns faster than metal. Even the suit itself would have taken damage from those flames.
Science!
Oh my! You are correct, Mr. Wright.
Your explanation doesn't make any
Judge
sense.
is excited again. Nice. Way to go, Judgy.
Objection! Stop trying
Oh.
to turn anthills into mountains.
This is no anthill. A lot of things don't line up with these events if we take this into consideration. The victim could not have been laying in that fire. His burn should be as severe as the likes of the golf club. But all we have is one burn mark on the back of his neck. So this can only mean one thing. The victim was alive after the first bolt came down.
Objection! This is stupid. The first bolt is the only one that could have killed him.
Objection! That's where you're wrong. I believe I know what happened based on a piece of evidence.
Evidence.
I think there was a struggle of some kind.
Again, this is the most foolish foolery of your foolish fool brain in that foolish spiky cranium of yours. How could he have had a struggle with lightning?
I think this lightning has been one big red herring all along.
What basis do you suggest the victim had to struggle, Mr. Wright?
This is
review what we
interesting.
know. The burn mark on the back of his neck. The golf club is really the only thing that could have done it. I have no doubt it was laying in that fire for quite some time. which in turn heated the metal. Next, the golf club itself. It was to be assumed it broke when he fell on top of it. But the body should have been just as burned as the golf club if you were laying in that fire to render it to what it is now. There's no way the body could be like it is if it were really hit by the first bolt. We find ourselves back at this question. How did the golf club burn him?
Explain.
The only answer I can draw is someone hit him with it. And I think we all know who that someone is.
Are you suggesting she hit him?
That's exactly
Maybe.
what I'm suggesting.
You just keep getting dumber and dumber. You know that?
Then perhaps you can explain where he got the burn mark. Remember, he had to have received it while he was alive in the forest, based on this picture.
Couldn't the defendant have used the stick to hit him? I just can't see why his manager would assault him like this.
He's right. Rainbow Trash could have easily hit him. They had those pictures of her after all.
It's really sad when you have to get bailed out by the judge.
Rainbow could not have done that. She was long gone after the lightning came down.
Yeah, according to Gilda. But do you remember she gave up chase to look for her package?
That's true, Rainbow could have gone back while Gilda was looking for her package. But I'm not talking about that. Sonata here was the only one who could have used that golf club to hit him.
How so?
And you of all ponies should know why, Trixie.
What do you mean?
Oh,
How could she be
was
the
it because
only
she
one?
was burnt out from her magic?
Very simple, Your Honor.
The Filly's Guide to Ponies? Is that a children's book?
Yes, it is.
I, gave that to you to read, not to, present as, evidence.
Well, maybe it works,
Trixie
as
had
I
that
would
one
have.
while she was
Let's
still
see
learning
it.
to speak. How dare you bring such a childish item in and make a mockery of this court?
Coming from Miss Wizard Hat and Wizard Cloak.
Hold on a sec. I'm just using this as a visual aid to make my point.
This better be good.
Well, this book is pretty small. It details the different types of ponies in Equestria. Right here
Okay.
on page 1, unicorns use magic. And we see an illustration of a cute little unicorn playing with toys, using her horn to move them. Do you see what I'm getting at here? If that club was hot enough to burn his neck, any physical contact with it would have burned whomever picked it up. So that completely rules out Rainbow Dash and Gilda. And even if they did pick up the stick while it was cooled down, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't be hot anymore, thus not being able to leave that mark.
No!
Yep.
That would be the case
Yep.
if you were anyone. Or any pony but a unicorn. Sonata is the only one who could have used
Point
it as a
taken.
weapon.
It's a good thing Rainbow Dash wasn't a unicorn.
Up without touching it using a levitation spell. Don't even
Or an
pretend
alicorn.
You don't know that spell either, Sonata.
That would have been a weakness if you were an alicorn.
I've even
Then
seen
you'd
you
be
doing it,
victim
picking
to
up that
both,
notepad
possibly.
of yours.
So yeah,
That
props for
leaves two
Rainbow Dash not
questions.
being an alicorn.
Why would you hit your longtime business partner? And how did he die of electrocution?
Oh man, that's funny.
To tell the truth, I don't have an answer for the latter. But I may have the one to why you hit him.
But this is wrong. She couldn't have done it. Why would she? She was his assistant.
Weren't you the one who said the motive doesn't matter, Trixie?
You!
But unlike you, I think it does matter. And I'll gladly explain what I
Let's
think her
see.
motive for
Let's see
striking him
this.
with the golf
Let's
club.
see this.
Tell me, Sonata.
I.
The reason you hit him was this, wasn't it? You were planning on backing out of your dubious blackmailing deeds, weren't you? As it says in your letter of resignation here. You probably showed this to Ace right after your deal with Rainbow went bad. I don't think Ace was too happy with your decision. This letter was torn in half. Half was found by Fluttershy's cottage, most likely blown away by the wind. Well, the other you must have recovered, as I found it in your hotel room. You couldn't just throw it away. Someone might find it. So you kept it in your room, while the police were busy investigating.
She probably should have just burned it.
That's probably why you got so angry when Pinky and I intruded. You were afraid we might have discovered the meaning behind the letter. Also, the reason you didn't have us arrested on the spot. The police might have confiscated my evidence, including the torn letter, and connected it to you.
But what's the motive, Mr. Wright?
Ace probably wasn't too thrilled about his partner in crime giving up the ghost on their business, which is why he tore the letter in half after reading it. He didn't want to give it up, and in turn, didn't want you publicly disclosing what you two were doing.
So it was
Now, I
self-defense.
doubt branding him with a hot stick was enough to kill him, and no doubt he'd be angrier afterwards. There's no way you could prepare teleporting when engaged in an argument like that. So what happened after, Sonata? There's no way you can't know. The first and second lightning bolt could not have killed him based on the evidence we have. So
I think it was self-defense.
there's nobody left to blame for
That
his death but
Sonata
yourself.
killed him.
Rainbow Dash being long gone after the first bolt came down, Gilda searching for her package, and Apple Bloom lost in the forest, whom later you brought out. You're the only one left who could have done it.
But if you're saying she killed him, how could she have electrocuted him?
Trixie, you must know as well as I do that there are some spells out there capable of electrocution.
But artificial electricity isn't strong enough to kill.
Given the situation she was in, being threatened by him, it could have caused a magic surge.
Oh,
In
really?
fact, he was weakened after being hit with a blazing hot blunt object that could have caused head trauma. The jolt could have been enough to stop his heart.
She'd also have the ability to aim it at one of the exposed areas on the suit. Not only from examining the suit, but the magic illuminating the area where she conducted the spell.
You can't just say she did this. If Ace was really threatening her, why would she not just run away? Resorting to violence as a first option is totally illogical.
She couldn't outrun him. He was an athlete. He could have easily caught her without even trying. And I doubt they just talked things over and made up after she hit him by the fact we have a dead body. There's no way the second bolt could have done it being a dud as Trixie uncovered. And even if it wasn't a dud, it would have had to hit him in midair to not make a noise, which is impossible due to the protective suit. There's no way out of it. Sonata must have electrocuted him somehow between the time frame the first bolt came down and when Gilda moved the body.
Miss Sonata, what do you have to say to all this?
Yeah, what did she have to say?
It's amazing what one little mistake ended up costing me.
What?
Is she
When I first
confessing?
spoke with you, I noticed your eyes.
She's
showed a lot of
confessing.
determination and resourcefulness. That's one of the things I look at first. Eyes alone show what someone is like more than any other part of
That's
the
very
body.
poetic.
They really are the window to the soul.
No!
Extremely
it wasn't
polite.
You didn't do it. It was rainbow trash.
It's why I wear these glasses.
I love how she's getting emotional and yet still calling her rainbow trash.
Cosmetic. Though they're transparent, I feel like they shield me. I was afraid someone would find out who I am, find some weakness.
Just like what you were doing.
Exactly.
Stop! You didn't do it.
I suppose my
Wow.
weakness is pity.
Come on, Trixie, don't kill the mood.
Letter you hold in your hands, right?
The guilt of what you were doing to those innocent athletes caught up to you, didn't it?
Yes. That night,
Confessing.
we arranged for Rainbow Dash to meet us in the forest.
Time for
Oh, boy.
negotiations.
Ooh, Ace's
I'm not
voice.
doing it.
Do it or else.
I don't care about that. Besides, I've got a better idea.
What?
Enjoy the parting gift. Smell you later, sucker.
Oh, so she launched the lightning bolt to scare
You
him.
said you would do it, Sonata.
I don't know what went wrong.
Ah!
I just don't know what went wrong.
Put out that fire.
Use your bag to smother it. I think we got all the flames.
This is just perfect. That little upstart is gonna ruin everything.
She won't tell. There's no way she can afford telling anyone about those pictures.
Then why didn't she cooperate? Do you realize we're sunk if she opens her mouth?
Oh boy.
It could still work.
This is
out.
really
I just
emotional.
have to beat her the old-fashioned way. That sonic rainbow thing was probably just over-exaggerated, right?
Yeah.
What's with you? You've been like that since we got here.
Like what?
All dodgy, and you mope whenever we talk.
Oh
There was
man.
actually something I wanted to tell you after this whole thing went through.
This reenactment is actually really
I was
terrifying.
going to give you this, but perhaps it's better if I tell you.
Tell me what?
I can't help you do this anymore.
What?
These scandals we're pulling, I think we've gone too far.
Too far? It's not like any pony is getting hurt.
No, we're exploiting vulnerabilities and weaknesses of innocent athletes just for our own fame and fortune.
What exactly are you trying to say here, Sonata?
Either you come clean and tell the truth about how you've been winning all this time, or I quit.
Are you joking? You can't quit. I can't do this without you. Then you'll go down with me. If I'm caught, you'll be caught too. You're just as guilty.
I'm sorry. Even if that may be the case, so be it. I can't do this anymore.
No!
Ace, calm down.
We can't go back now!
Ace?
Hey, I think
You're
that's the
not
same
going
voice
anywhere,
actor as
Sonata.
Phoenix.
What are you doing?
Yeah, I think that's the same voice
Fate
actor.
in the forest.
What?
A ferocious beast got you and ended your life.
No! Stop! Don't come any closer!
Self-defense.
I then fell into a depressed state and couldn't race anymore. No one will notice my performance drop because I was forced to retire because you died. My dear Sonata, I'm so very sorry. But I'm afraid I must ask you for one more thing. Farewell, Sonata.
Oh boy.
You're dead.
Smack. I'm just surprised that there's still so much time left, though.
You don't really have time to think. I knew.
Like, we got the confession now.
Before we even question, Ace was undeniably faster, and I couldn't teleport. That took too much time and too much concentration. The only thing left to do then was to defend myself. I reached out with my magic and took hold of the nearest object, that disfigured, smoldering remnant of a golf club, and swung it as forcefully as I could. It hit the back of his neck, still hot enough to leave a nasty burn. The club snapped in two and Ace shrugged the whole thing
I just
off
want to
with
hug
nothing.
Sonata right now.
When he looked at me then, that last time,
I feel pretty bad for her, even though like she was
I
gonna
dropped the broken pieces
have
of the
Rainbow
smoldering
Dash be
golf club
guilty.
and let them fall to the ground, and
This.
resorted to the only thing I had left, directing the
Wow.
full force of my magic power in his
I
direction towards
mean,
one of the
it
exposed parts
it
of his
is
feet.
self-defense, so.
What I had not taken into account was a magic
Ugh.
surge which uncontrollably amplifies magic, and it may have let loose more than I had intended. After that, what frightened me most was not Ace and his uncontrollable anger, or even the fear of death, but that the force around me had grown entirely silent. He was lying on the ground. The spell had hurtled him a few feet. I ran away from the clearing as fast as I could. I couldn't use any spells of any kind, not being able to concentrate after what I had just done. I just ran away in complete darkness. When I realized he wasn't following me, I had to see what had happened. About 10 minutes after the whole ordeal, I cautiously went back to the clearing, and though it was dark, I saw the silhouette of his body lying there, lifeless. It didn't take me long to realize
boy.
he was dead. Being caught for blackmailing was one thing, but there was no way I wanted to be caught as a murderer. Even if I could argue it was in self-defense, I'd have no clear
That piano music, though. Pretty loud.
I formulated a plan to take everything on the crime scene and make it look as if Rainbow Dash had done it. I quickly gathered up the golf club I struck him with, and the half of my resignation letter I still had. After I was all done, I went back into the forest trying to...
Now I'm starting to see why this is like one big full part. Because there's no real cliffhangers here.
As you all know now,
still,
while I prepare that teleportation,
I still think I'm gonna separate this into different videos.
Just as Trixie said, it was enough to corrupt my destination. Both Applebloom and I ended up a little ways from the forest entrance near Fluttershy's cottage. I was completely vulnerable. I couldn't use magic after that jump, so I just grabbed the stick and ran. I took a shortcut through the park. My heart was beating a mile a minute, and I wasn't really watching where I was going. I tripped on the bridge and dropped that stick in the lake. Since I was unable to use magic, I couldn't retrieve it, so I just left it down there. Once I got to my hotel, I tried to convince myself that I didn't do it. That's actually the reason I hadn't reported you earlier, Mr. Wright.
Why?
I knew you were starting to become suspicious of me when you saw some of those items lying around my room. I needed to throw you off my tail. After Wright and his friend left, I plotted to subdue him in that forest myself, but who should I run into but one of our past victims? Instead of taking the evidence back myself as I had planned, I made it so he would take the fall for me and redirect Wright's suspicion even if all the evidence was out. And it was just more serendipity you and the child acted as corroborating witnesses on the scene to Cruz's attack, Twilight, when I was just planning on the pink one to catch him. I told him I'd have his sibling pulled from the hospital if he didn't cooperate.
Just wait a second here. How was he able to phone me?
I don't know what you mean by that. I tried to send you a telepathic message. It's in that spell book you found, page 162. I was hoping due to your ignorance of Equestria you wouldn't question it. I did feel something intercepted the signal though, but somehow I was still able to talk to you.
That was you? But the voice...
It's not hard to alter your voice when speaking through magic.
What?
You don't use your vocal cords for telepathy. I just studied the way Cruise Control enunciated, and contacted you using that voice to articulate myself. Think of it as being able to project a piano melody you once heard vividly in your mind, but not actually knowing how to play the piano.
She must have used that talent of hers.
Piano references, okay.
There's no way out of this now. I'm caught, and I guess it's time to pay my dues.
Well, this seems to prove the innocence of the defendant. Miss Trixie, do you have anything to say regarding this confession?
Oh look, Trixie's mad.
Miss Trixie?
Might want to take a few steps back. I think she's gonna explode. I'm just gonna be over here. I hope the microphone can detect me. Oh, that's it? I thought she was gonna explode. No explosion? Really? No explosion?
Miss Sonata, your plea, whether your actions were in self-defense or not, will be reviewed by Equestria's Council and Supreme Court. You also face several other allegations regarding these blackmailings and tampering with the crime scene. I'm really sorry to say, but taking into account those crimes won't help their decision in your favor.
I understand.
But as of right now, I can retract my earlier verdict and hand down a proper one in the case of Miss Dash.
Yep.
Yeah.
I still don't think it's much of a competition, you know, court. I mean, won the case, I guess, but... yeah.
You know as well as I do that it's not over. You're worried, aren't you? Seek out the truth and everything will work out fine.
Mia?
You'll see.
What is it, Mia? What is it, Mia?
No, I can't let this happen.
I hereby retract my earlier verdict. The defendant,
What's going on now?
Rainbow Dash, is found to be acquitted of...
Objection!
Can't I just hand down my verdict in peace? Wait,
What's going
Mr.
on now?
Wright?
No, Your Honor, it's not over yet. There was a contradiction in the confession the witness gave.
What?
The defense believes that Sonata did not murder Ace Swift.
I just admitted it.
What?
What
Are you
doing?
serious?
You're about to win.
Your Honor, may I please request Sonata convert that confession she just made to testimony?
This is highly unorthodox for a defense attorney to hold the
Wow.
verdict in her favor. But if Miss Sonata is willing to, I can allow it.
What?
I really don't understand
What?
he's trying to pull here. But if it makes him happy, I'll do it.
Mr. Wright, I
What-
must
what?
warn you. If you believe there is a contradiction in this witness's testimony and manage to prove she's lying, your client will be seen as guilty once again and will be treated as such immediately afterwards. This will be the final testimony I will grant. With a confession like this from the perpetrator,
This is so
I see
weird.
one more reason to prolong this trial.
What?
The defense understands,
Okay.
Your Honor.
Phoenix, what are you doing?
Please trust me. Everything's gonna be alright.
Okay, so I disagree with what I said earlier. This is a great cliffhanger. Why didn't they just make this into another episode?
Alright, Miss Sonata, you've heard Mr. Wright. Please convert your...
Okay, you know what?
confession to testimony.
I retract what I was gonna do at 120, and instead I'm gonna make it
Have it your
115.
way, then.
Oh my goodness, it even does a fade. It even does a fade. It even does a fade. Wow. Okay. So, yeah, I was gonna have it end at 120, but this moment is too perfect. I can't let it slip by. I am going to end the part of the video right here. I just feel like, I just feel like it's right, okay? As a content creator, as a video maker myself, this just seems right. So, I'm gonna end it here. So, part 5-4A is over, and I hope to see you guys in part 5-4B. This is the most excited that I've ever gotten, I think, while watching Turnabout Storm. This episode is really... It's really pulling all the punches, man. I really like it. And I don't know if I'm gonna watch it right afterwards, or if I'm gonna watch it a different day or something. You'll find out, but... I'm not sure. I gotta make sure that I have enough time to take care of that. But for now, yeah. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Cause let's face it, how many of you guys are gonna watch part 5-4A, you know, get this far into it, and then not watch part 5-4B? I'm just saying. Maybe some of you. Maybe some of you, but anyway, this is it. So I thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you next time. My hair's a mess. I don't